Hello there, and welcome to From the Source. My name is Aaron Tavler, and this is a YouTube video / article from the website www.supershowcast.com, which is a podcast website which reviews comic book related TV shows and films, which I'm a co-creator of with my good friend Alex Cecil. And today, though, we're going to do a very special edition. We're going to do From the Source, which is a video that takes some of those source material. That would be the word. What is the source material? Let's see. Comic books! Look, there's comic books everywhere. And so some of these great comic book related TV shows and films have a lot of source material that that is strongly influenced from or take directly even from sometimes. And there's a lot of great stories out there, and not everybody knows which is from where, so I thought I'd do some videos to inform you, if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, of these TV shows and films, that it seems there are many people that are fans of these, what comic books you might want to check out and get into. And I'm going to go into depth on these, from the TV shows and the films on some of these, so there will be spoilers for a lot of these TV shows and films and the comic books themselves. I'll try not to spoil too much, but some of the history, I'm definitely going to go into some spoilers there. So you've been warned. But yeah, so today we're going to talk about The Flash! Because I got my Flash shirt, got my Flash ring. And The Flash, which is a great TV show. We love it on the Super Show Cast. We're huge fans of The Flash. It's one of the best shows out there, in my opinion. And we're going to talk about a story that heavily influenced the TV show. Definitely the first season of it. So if you haven't watched the first season of The Flash, I highly recommend you go back, watch that show, come back, and then see this show. Did you do it? Go back. Hey, okay, ready, go. So today we're going to talk about Flash Rebirth. This came out in 2009 of June in the summer. This is an original issue. I bought it back in the day. It's not a graphic novel like these ones because I'm a cheap bastard. No, I'm not. I am. So, anyway, this was a 6-issue limited series, and it was written by Jeff Johns and drawn by Ethan Van Sciver. Now, those names are very important, particularly Jeff Johns. We'll come back to that in a minute. But before we go in depth in this, I'm going to have to do a little history. So, history. Because comics, there's been particularly with DC Comics, there's 75 plus years of continuity and stories. So, and before we get directly into how this ties into the TV show, I'm going to go back a little bit. So, The Flash, which is Barry Allen, fastest man alive, speedster, he started out in, this is a collection of his first stories where he started out with. Now, see, I got a collection. It can be less cheap, a little bit. It's not the original story, it's a collection. It's called Flash Chronicles. Highly recommend it. And in it, The Flash premiered in 1956 of October in an anthology series called Showcase in number 4. And in this anthology series, The Flash premiered, Barry Allen, back in the day, and was The Flash and had many adventures for many years until an event came back in 1985 called Crisis on Infinite Earths. And this was a 12-issue maxi series that is very influential in DC comics and films and DC and TV shows and everything related to DC. So I'm going to talk about this one a lot. It's like the holy grail of backstory information. So you'll be seeing this one a bit. And so it was a big event for DC, kind of restructured their entire comic book line. And in it, something big happened to the Flash. See, there he is on the cover there. He died. Told you, spoilers, your fault now. So, Barry Allen died, saving the day from the Anti-Monitor. He had a noble sacrifice, and, very sadly died, and, after that. But, his sidekick, Wally West, Kid Flash, took on the mantle of the Flash and was the Flash for many, many years, for about 20 years after this. And in that time, over here, Jesus, this is part a volume 2 volume of some of Kid Flash's adventures that he became Wally West, became the regular Flash. And as you can see on the front, this is Jeff Johns. Again, big name. He wrote Wally West's Adventures as the Flash for many years. And you can see this is just volume 2 of a 3-volume series. You can see lots of adventures. And so Wally West was the Flash for a long time. And Jeff Johns loves the Flash. He loves almost all DC characters. He's very influential person. He's currently the chief creative officer at DC Comics now. He's involved. He's got his hands in many different things there. And he wrote The Flash on and off for about 8 years in total. So he knows a lot about The Flash. So so he wrote that, and then nothing from Barry Allen. Wally West is The Flash for many years until an event comes along called Final Crisis. This was written by Grant Morrison and drawn by J.G. Jones and Carlos Pacheco. I think that's how I'm saying it. And Doug Mahnke and a lot of other very important people. And again, there's that word, crisis. Crisis is used a lot in the DC universe. It's and then the films and TV shows and in The Flash, they mention it many times. It's a very important word. When you hear the word crisis, you know something very important is going to happen. And it's a word they like to throw around a lot. And there's been many crises in DC. This is supposedly the final one. But so in this one, though, very big important thing happens. Barry Allen comes back. Hey, he's alive again. Woo! He comes back to save the day. He's been in the Speed Force, which is the energy that powers these speedsters. And he comes back to save the world from Darkseid in his hour of need. And it's sort of a full circle thing, because you had the first crisis with Crisis on Infinite Earths, which over here. And then it's full circle again, comes back. Barry dies. Barry comes back. That happens. And, alright, Barry Allen's back. Okay, sweet. So now we can get into, Flash, Rebirth. Actually, no, we can't, because, we gotta talk about this first. This is, Green Lantern Rebirth, which came out in, 2004. That's correct. Just have to double check there. It was written, by Jeff Johns, and drawn by Ethan Van Sciver. Oh, convenient. Check that out. And, Green Lantern had some stuff going on for him at the time. Weird stuff. I'm not even going to get into. Well, it was strange. Like, he killed some people, and then he saved the universe, but then he died, and he got possessed by this spirit called the Spectre, which was like a weird entity thing. I'm not going to get into it. It's really messed up. Anyway, fans were messed up about it, and they didn't like that he kind of become a villain. It was very, people didn't like that, and the Green Lantern mythology was all over the place. So Jeff Johns comes in, loves these characters, decides to fix things. So he comes in and makes this fantastic miniseries that starts a glorious run of Green Lantern comics, and so he decided to do the same thing for The Flash, which brings us now to Flash Rebirth. So I'm going to talk about this now a little bit. This, like I said, heavily takes from influences the TV show that you know and love now. It's on the CW. So if you don't want to get spoiled in that stuff, come back later. Now's the time to stop. Okay, ready? Here we go. So Barry Allen's back. Everyone's happy. Yay! Parades for Barry Allen everywhere. Everybody's happy that he's back. And but Barry Allen still, while he's happy to be back, at the same time, he sort of feels the pull to the Speed Force. He knows something's not quite right. He shouldn't have come back, and something's changed. And in the Speed Force, and then all this weird stuff starts happening with him in the Speed Force, and you find out that something big has changed in the world, and it apparently it's not big to him, but it was big to us and the readers and me at the time, and it was a big head scratcher, because you find out that, and this is where it really starts to link into what happens in the TV show, is that Barry Allen's mother was murdered. Told you, spoilers. And supposedly murdered by, his dad, Henry Allen, which is really sad. And it kind of made me scratch my head, because I was like, wait a minute, this didn't happen. All these years of continuity, and Henry Allen wasn't a murderer. But, but we discovered that this is what is called a retcon, and you have years and years of continuity, then you have something goes back and changes that. That is a retcon. Retcon that this happened, and then Barry didn't believe for a second that his dad did this. So he's been trying to prove that for years that his mom was murdered by his dad, and that's a big plot line, and it's a big plot line of the TV show, huge plot line of this, and I kind of like it actually. It's kind of is a big step by Jeff Johns. Most comic book characters are somehow defined by a death of a parent of some kind. Like Batman's parents were murdered in front of him, makes him want to become Batman, fight crime. Not Green Lantern. Superman. Superman's planet was his whole planet was destroyed. His family was killed. over on the other side, you got Spider-Man. His surrogate father was killed, Uncle Ben, and it sort of spurs them on to become the heroes they are. They gave them a sense of justice. And Barry really didn't have any sort of tragic background. He came from a time when he was created where heroes were light and less edgy, and he really didn't have any sort of inner turmoil. And not to say you necessarily need that all the time, but it does make for a more interesting character sometimes, particularly with superheroes. The more flawed a superhero these days, we tend to find the more we can relate to it, because we're flawed people. And Barry's trying to figure out, for years he's been trying to figure out who killed his mom. And then you find out in this issue, and in this miniseries, that it was his nemesis, the Reverse Flash, who had also been dead, but it somehow came back. And he came back with this thing called the Negative Speed Force, which allowed him to go back in time and murder Barry's mom. Now, Barry couldn't do this because his Speed Force is the positive Speed Force, but somehow the Negative Speed Force allows Reverse Flash to go back in time and do all sorts of horrible things. He did not just murder his mom, he did loads of horrible things to Barry when he was a kid. He couldn't kill Barry because that would affect his own timeline. And so they come to blows at the end, and I'm not going to tell you what happens because I want you to go read the comic. Well, you can say that you saved the day. But yeah, this event, the villain being the cause of Barry's murder and the mystery behind it, that's a big part of the Flash TV show. And he was inspired directly by this event. And, Jeff Johns is a huge writer of the TV show as well. He writes episodes, he's a big producer on it, involved in everything. So, he wrote this, so you can see that his influence, if it really wasn't for this event and his influence on the Flash, you really wouldn't have the sort of the driving force behind the first season of the Flash and the character itself, really, to solve his mother's murder, and you wouldn't get such a really rich, complex villain for Grant Gustin's Flash to fight against, which is the Reverse Flash, played by Tom Cavanaugh, which is brilliant. So that all comes from this. If you like that storyline, if you're interested in it by this video, I'm going to put links in the show notes for the Amazon link, so you can buy it off there. Or I'm going to put links for Comixology, which is a comic website where you can download and read comic books. It's great. And we like things on the internet anyways. You're looking at it now. So thanks for watching. Please go to our website. I have more content there on this. This wasn't all I wrote, this video. I wrote a more in-depth article. If you want more information about Flash Rebirth, there, you can go and check that out. DC's doing a big event right now in the comic books that coming out in June that's sort of based, it's called Rebirth, and it's based on Jeff Johns' sort of Rebirth titles, so it's very timely, this kind of video. Which is one of the reasons I decided to do it. But if you like this video, if you like the Flash TV show, you can like it and share it to your friends, please, and just be like, hey, you know what? I know the original stuff. I know the source material because I watched the Flash. And like, yes, and I knew that Flash Rebirth was part of it. If you're snobby like that, I don't know why. But if not, you can go and check out there, share it, like it, say, hey, I like the Flash, I like that TV show. Please check this video out. It'll help. So yeah, please comment if you like this kind of video. I want to do more of this kind of stuff in the future. I'm thinking of doing one for Civil War, if you might find that helpful, because that's a big Marvel film coming out, and it had a fantastic graphic novel, then limited series that came out 10 years ago that I read, that it's heavily influenced by. So if you would find that helpful, please let me know. And we do one from Batman, Superman, and so go on our website, www.supershowcast.com. You can check out our podcast there, a backlog of stuff that we have, a bunch of podcasts, articles, lots of cool things going on that website, and including this article, like I mentioned, that you can go back and read. And you can listen to our weekly podcast, or we try and make it weekly, see what we can, where we review comic book related TV shows and films. And this has been From the Source. Bye, guys.